Hello and welcome to Macedonia Park for round 22 of the National Premier League's Men's New South Wales as Wollongong Wolves host St George City. The Wolves find themselves in a rut of form, having lost their last 5 games, but their opponents, St George City, have struggled for consistency in 2026. This afternoon is an opportunity for these teams to push on and finish on a positive note. My name is Tim Gibson. Let's get into the teams, and starting with the Wolves, Daniel Solski is in goal. Number 2 is Jake Shakir. 4, Dylan Ryan. 8, Sebastian Duarte. 10, Flynn Madden. 13, Hugo Cornish. 17, Marcus Beattie. 18, Kazuya Yamamura. 24, Lachlan Scott. 25, Alex Mashivecchio. And number 44 is Yuto Fujita. Over to St George City now, and Jack Kenny is in goal. Number 3, Ben Berry. 4 is Solomon John Monahan Viker. 5, Lewis Mikio. 7 is Oscar Gultekin. 10, Paolo Mitri. 11, Ben Geisen. 21 is Malik Amin. 25, Brody Clarkson. 33, Lewis Curry. And number 47 is Bassam Sabag. Well, it is a rather chilly afternoon for this game, with Wollongong playing in their red kit while St George City in their white. Pitch still looking quite green as we get into the latter stages of this season. And the Wolves have been forced into a few changes compared to their team over the last few weeks as they wrestle with availabilities, but also access to some new signings to help build the depth of their squad, which has been an issue for them over the past couple of years, particularly at this stage of the season. But they've been able to bring in some serious reinforcements, could potentially provide the boost they need to get back into the finals conversation, and as well get off this tough losing run they find themselves in. It was a 12-game unbeaten run they were on before this losing run began, and it had seen them looking towards the real top places of the table, but the past few weeks have seen that all slip away. And that was compounded by a defeat against Sydney FC here, where they gave up the lead twice, but there is a corner for Flynn Madden, who chooses to drive it in flat, but that's easily cleared. Mashivecchio will win the race to recycle the ball. It was tight between these teams when they faced off in round 7. Yamamura flicks that round the corner, perhaps fortuitously, and St George City have scrambled well to recover the ball in an advanced position. Here they come down the left-hand side. As I was saying, it was a 1-0 win for the Wolves in round 7. Tate Russell's winner in the 88th minute. Paolo Mitri here in a great position, though. The flag goes up as what would have been a good opportunity turns out not to be. Tate Russell, of course, who's now just signed with Brisbane Roar in the A-League, which was some valuable quality and experience that they have missed. Jake Shaked, though, who's now occupying the right back spot. One of 3 signings for the Wolves in the mid-season window as they look to get back into that finals conversation that they looked nailed on for just a few weeks ago. Departure of Tate Russell and also with Luke Wilkshire, who's still not in the dugout. St George City showing a real purpose to their pressing early on. That's well dealt with though by initially Hugo Cornish to bring that down, and finds himself in a strike partnership now with Lachlan Scott. That's a ball down the line for Mascivecchio. Neat play to Scott. Plays it back towards Mascivecchio. That's alert defending though from Lewis Micchio. Get another corner here, the Wolves. The last delivery from Madden was easily cleared. We'll wait to see what he can conjure up on this occasion. Again, ball goes short for Mascivecchio. Madden will get a different angle to deliver that in. Cleared away easily by Micchio, and now St George City can try to work their way forwards on the counter-attack, and there was a good position on BT with some important covering defending. Sabag with the throw in, and St George City will get a chance to recycle the ball. Driven forwards by Monaghan Veka. Paolo Mitri flagged for offside. St George City were also busy in the recent transfer window. One of those signings being Ben Geisen, who signed from Sydney Olympic and is in fact a Wollongong Wolves junior who departed the club at the start of this season. And here's St George City and an opportunity for them to try and create something. It's still on here on the edge of the box. Ball stood up to the back post. It's still on though and will need to be cleared by Yamamura. Dylan Ryan gets it further away. Shot from Geisen. That one floats harmlessly over the bar, but Geisen was an important part of the Wollongong team last season, but didn't feature in the Australian Championship before moving across to Sydney Olympic. It's his second visit back to Macedonia Park for 2 different teams now. Scott holds it up against Madden, but goes away from the midfielder, and now Curry can try to wriggle his way forwards, but that's an awkward one for Micchio to deal with. Mitri unable to bring it down against Beatty, and Mascivecchio will send it all the way back. The Wolves have opted to play Kazuya Yamamura back in a defensive role. With Ken Izumi not in the squad. And of course on that left wing now, Yuto Fujita. Who will provide another wide option for the Wolves. fighting for the ball, and Geisen forced to kick it out. But as mentioned, this losing run for the Wolves, it was extended to 5 matches with the defeat away to NWS Spirit. Found themselves 2-0 down within 21 minutes and couldn't find a route back into the game. It comes after back-to-back home defeats to RPL Leichhardt and then to Sydney FC. A frustrating one for them where they took the lead twice in the match but conceded quite quickly after each goal, and a stoppage time winner from Sydney FC meant they came away with nothing. Seeing them pushed down now into 7th. But there is potential for them to jump into 6th with Sydney FC's defeat to UNSW. Here's Madden trying to get a toe in to race in on goal, and that's not been given up. It's still on for Madden. Crucial from Monaghan Vaker on the line, and it was determined work from the Wolves' new striker. Hugo Cornish. Will be looking to make an impression up front. Along this losing run for the Wolves, they have had issues with goal scoring. Only 2 goals in their last 5 games, which were of course all defeats, and those 2 goals came against Sydney FC. One of those from the penalty spot. Madden will get a go at a corner from the other side. This one swung in towards the near post, headed away by Dylan Ryan's header initially, and now he can flick it on, and Fujita can try to create something. Madden carries on his run. It goes back to Fujita. Tries to make room for a cross. Still going, and Scott comes across, but in the end, Geisen can clip it forwards. Awkward one for Beatty to deal with, and rushing through on goal now. Here's an opportunity, and it's placed into the corner. Malik Amin with the goal. And they have showed promise on the counter-attack, the visitors, and they have the opening goal. Well-placed ball from Ben Geisen against his former side to loop it into an awkward area. And from there it was determined work from Amin. And he made no mistake. And a neat finish into the far corner. Wollongong have got it all to do now. Staring down the barrel of a 6th successive defeat if they can't turn this one around. It was Jake Shaked who tried to come across and deal with it, but the ball fell kindly for Amin, who showed great determination and didn't give up on the opportunity. St George City, who do find themselves in a better patch of form currently, just 2 defeats in their last 8 games coming into this one. In what has been an inconsistent season for them. Currently 9 points, and this will likely extend that lead over the bottom place in the competition. But 6 wins from 21 games so far, and currently in 12th. That's a nice ball for Scott in behind, and was there a tug back? Well, the referee says no. Scott looked to have a good opportunity there, but enough was done there just to put the striker off. Would have been a difficult call to make there. Likely red card resulting out of it, but we're down the other end now. An opportunity for Mitri to line one up. Solski catches that comfortably. Mitri, the throwing goes the way of the Wolves. It was more likely to be a free kick in that context, but nonetheless the Wolves get the ball back. Battling for that, and Scott can get in front, but takes a tumble. Clarkson plays it forwards, but only into Dylan Ryan's path. Duarte tries to slip it into the channel for Fujita. That's overhit though. As we get what will likely be a last flurry of sunshine before it starts to get quite chilly here at Macedonia Park. Scott, nice work to find Madden. That's a little overhit though for Cornish. Certainly the Wolves, who are eager to have most of the ball in this game. St George City happy to rely on that back five to try and shut out the Wolves. Ball for Fujita. Brought down nicely. Under pressure though from Geisen. Fujita steps away from Geisen and carries on down the line, looking to potentially deliver something. Battling back against the fullback and wins out. Here's Beatty. Beatty for Scott. Now St George City can try to rely on that counter-attacking streak that's already proved profitable in this game. Now the task for the Wolves will be to see if they can break down St George City. That pass is overhit for Shaked. Madden loses out, and Curry can take it away to find Mitri. BT alert to that though, and knocks it for a throw-in. They work themselves out of a tight spot. Shaked's head up. Scott tries to bump Curry off the ball, but doesn't happen. And now they can look to try and play a more direct ball forwards. Nice touch from Curry, and they can try to make their way forwards now through Sabag. Mikio looks to try and clip one into that pocket of space, but overhit in the end. Shaked heads it on for Mashivecchio. Nice work from Cornish, and Mashivecchio can try to take it away. Foul from Clarkson. So it'll be a Wolves free kick. Have had a few set pieces so far, but have failed to make them count as of yet. Shakehead back for Yamamura. Collision there, but this is a good chance for the away side through Geisen. Offside flag raised, and that ball anyways was going to be of no consequence. Duarte, still been an ever-present figure of this Wollongong team. Dylan Ryan looks to clip that into the channel once again. This time for Hugo Cornish. Free kick goes against the Wolves. We'll need to try and develop some different ideas here, the home side, if they're to break down their opponents. Kenny's free kick sends it to his opposite number in Solski. Clarkson skipped inside and finds Sabag in plenty of space on the left. Nice tackle as well. Mitri trying to keep going, but all given away in the end. Fujita's touch. Here's Gultekin. Gultekin is already showing a couple of neat touches. The 20-year-old came from the Sydney FC Academy and has been in solid form this season. Scored against SD Raiders last round and is already on 11 goals this season. And will continue to be a threat for the Wolves this afternoon. Shaked. Scott over the top, just spins away from Beattie and Cornish, who are both eyeing it off. wiggled out of that one nicely from Curry Geisen. And Duarte wrestling for it. Now the ball comes in. It's a bag with a strike. Flies over the top, but another example of the space that's being found in behind the Wollongong right side of defence. Past the midway point of the half now, and it remains St George City holding the 1-0 lead over the Wolves. And they haven't created anything of substance really, Wollongong, since they went behind. And these direct balls forwards are causing a couple of issues for the hosts. I mean, of course, already has a goal. Scott makes that run, and he's still on Lachlan Scott, cleared away well by Ben Berry. Yamamura quickly on for Shaked. Tries to play it down the line towards Mashivecchio. BT. Finds Ryan. BT switches play towards Duarte. Now Fujita. Fujita tries to go around Geisen and gets a ball in towards Scott. Still on for Lachlan Scott. Striker clips it in and headed over the bar by Hugo Cornish. The Wolves worked it nicely from side to side. That's the best they've created so far. And it was Hugo Cornish and Jack Kenny who can drive these goal kicks forwards. Mitri in for a battle with Shaked. But that's clearly the tactic for St George City, to really fire these long balls over the top of the Wollongong defence and force them into duels. Gultekin loses out to Madden. Madden somehow keeps that in play. Fujita finds Duarte, back to Fujita. Berry can clear it away. The Wolves just in the last couple of minutes trying to step up in pursuit of an equaliser. Geisen's touch to find Clarkson. Back to Geisen. It's a little loose though, the pass from the midfielder. But in the end, they get it sorted. Mikio looks forwards, and that ball in behind for Amin, who gets a shot off and flies past the post. But there's that opportunity again. Ball over the top. Scott. Monaghan Vaker paying close attention. Cornish. Kenny will let that roll back into his box so he can claim it. Clarkson. Neat pass to find Geisen, but Gultekin can't get on that one as Duarte takes control. That pass a little risky, but found its intended target. That ball as well, a little short, but Shakehead can find Mashivecchio, goes back to the fullback. Mitri tries to go around Shakehead, who wins that duel. Yamamura deals with that one somewhat, and Shakehead can clear it away. A tough afternoon so far for Shakehead. Who's starting his first match for the Wolves. Came off the bench against Spirit, played from the 81st minute. Is Fujita in a good position to find it in the near post, and it's gone wide. Cornish with another opportunity with his head. This one goes wide. The one a few minutes ago went over the bar, but is proving a bit of a menace up front for the Wolves so far. As we get a little bit of a sprinkle of rain. Yamamura's header is strong, and the rebound will fall back into Wollongong. Geisen, chance to stretch the legs down the right. Beatty across to deal with it. And down the line, but only as far as Clarkson. Neat ball into Gultekin. Back in for Curry. They're working this nicely. Gultekin on the edge of the box. Curler goes wide. Turned a little bit gloomy now, and the rain is increasing in intensity. Wait to see whether this causes a few slips and slides. Yamamura gets his pass off for Shakehead down the line for Mashivecchio. Here's an opportunity for the Wolves, and put behind only for the throw-in. be a free kick in a good position. Madden and Duarte discussing who'll step up for it. It will be Duarte for an in-swinging delivery. Will likely send this right onto the top of the goalkeeper. Was committing numbers forwards. Here's Duarte's delivery, headed away well at the near post. Mashivecchio blasts it into Amin, and BT will be in a foot race with Gultekin, wins it, which was important, and charges down Geisen as well. That was some good defending. Around 10 regular first half minutes to play in this one. St George City is still leading 1-0. Curry and Ryan having a discussion there after a bit of an altercation. Scott. Wide for Mashivecchio. Shaked chooses to overlap, and Yamamura plays it into Madden. Here's Mashivecchio. Neat nutmeg there on Curry, and now Wollongong can try to work it forwards and find that equaliser before half time. Gultekin. Foul though. Goes against the Wolves and pressure relieves. Geisen looks to get that delivery in, but it'll fall for Mitri. That looked destined for the corner, but the flag goes up. That was despite Wollongong looking to work the ball forwards nicely. With a bit of space. Scott. Free kick goes against the Wolves captain. Geisen over the top. He'll get the ball in, but Dylan Ryan has time to bring it down and play out for Fujita. Here comes Madden. Cornish was making a good run. Gultekin finds Curry. That's short, and Mashivecchio can try to take it forwards. His touch was a little loose. Now Yamamura. Sabag, nice touch inside to take it round Beatty, and Mitri will look to get away. Runs out of room though. Yamamura finds Shaked. Mashivecchio tries to take down Sabag there, but Berry, touch away from Cornish. They still have the ball. St George City. As we enter the final 5 regular minutes of this one. Wolves will probably look to their bench at the break, but first here's Dylan Ryan to find Lachlan Scott. Curry, who's gotten through plenty of work in that midfield, chases after that one and can release Geisen. Gultekin can't get there before Dylan Ryan. Ball in for Scott. Monaghan, Vaker tend to have not fouled the striker, and that's a lovely touch from the St George City left back. Ball in behind for Mitri. Shaked has work to do. Back in now to find Lewis Curry, and it's still there for the midfielder, and finds the corner. It's 2-0 to the visitors, and that was a well-placed finish, concluding a nice move from the away side. Just mentioned the work Lewis Curry's been getting through in midfield. That is his reward. Just slipped under the glove of the goalkeeper, and more frustration for Wollongong. Fujita. Back from Madden. Wollongong still haven't really created that volume of opportunity that they really need to if they're to get back into this one. Now 2 goals down, which just before half-time makes it a tall order in the second half. Still going Duarte. Scott again asking for a free kick. He's taken a few tumbles in this one, the Wollongong captain. Fujita. Now Geisen. Lewis Curry, the most recent goal scorer. Macchio goes for Sabag. Shaked gets a touch on it, and Yamamura clears it further. Still on, though, for City. That ball will go over the top. Into the channel it goes again for Scott. Back to Duarte. Duarte wrestling with Gultekin, but the wingers taking the ball away and they can hold on to possession, but not for long. Masuvecchio wide for Cornish. Limited options in the box though. We'll have to bide his time. Now the delivery goes in for Fujita. We could have taken it first time. And that was a good opportunity. A great cross from the striker. Solski will collect. Fujita finds Duarte. Geisen. Ball's cut out by Dylan Ryan. Mitri, good interception, but it will stay in possession for Wollongong. Check head wide for Cornish. As we head into stoppage time. And again, we're seeing this tactic employed to just launch the ball as far as he can get it. A little slip there, but he didn't get the distance normally he would. Curry's pumping the back on Madden. Not given as a free kick, and the Wolves will need to try and find an extra gear. Cornish chasing down Mikio, and that's a foul. That'll be half time here at Macedonia Park. The Wolves 2-0 down to St George City, and they've got it all to do in the second half. We'll be back in a little over 10 minutes time.
Here's Ferez, got to be careful as he takes on Wells. Now Negro looking for the run of Fowler. Fresh legs off the bench here. Fowler, and he scores! End-to-end in the blink of an eye, and Sydney FC take the lead.
Siren takes the referee's count down to 4. Abdul Rahman Awal Lawal has opened the scoring here. Split wall now. It's going to go into the middle. Manly have equalised. Jesse Perez. Crossing it into the middle. Tapped home by Luke Neuenhoff. And Manly have the lead. Griffiths goes to the rover line. Down to the box. Griffiths puts it home. And Samuel Griffiths. Through ball for Awan Lawal. Has to take it away from the box. Cross into Pavlovich. Cross. Brought down. Shot. Goal for Manly. For the Western Sydney Wanderers, sorry. As Lachlan Satoot. Pavlovich. His pass. Awan Lawal has found an equaliser for the Wanderers.
They're backing off here at the University of New South Wales, and now Perez makes the run into space beautifully. Perez. Wood is there with him. Perez is going to get there first. Tries in the cross low. Chance for a goal! Goal! Richard Shawecki with the goal. To choose from. Drives it in low. Flicks in. Out in there! A terrific header at the near post. A great cross coming in from here. He's going to switch it for Jordi Perez. Perez shouting for the shot. Goal! Goal to Jordi Perez! Not quite on the ball in the last few weeks now. Tarek Maya from halfway! Goal!
By the millimetre. Flicking it around, Mako. Goes to the back stick. Great touch and an even better finish. And there's the opener for St. George City. Buries it. Sends Jack Kenny the wrong way, and that is a brilliantly taken penalty. Slipped, but managed to get a foot away to it. And it's in! All the way from the sideline. Santaressa goes direct, and it's dribbled in! There's two men that are claiming it, but regardless, it's a third goal for SD Raiders.
Kobayashi. Fizzed in, chance! And it's gone over the line. It's Shoki Yoshida who got the last touch. Trying to find Yoshida, the running behind, sliding through, and it's gone in the back of the net.
Bugaria takes it at the near post. Armanakis. He finds the shot! That is brilliant! Clear the defensive third though. Casella twists it back in. Aquien with a header again. And now through traffic. The equaliser comes for St. George. And it's Mark Roberts. Here comes the free kick. Armanakis whips it into the box. And the header is in! Bailey Callahan comes up.
He's never one to lead the process himself. He generally lets his football do the talking, and he's done beautifully to slide past Tanaka. The ball's good, and Armson's open the scoring. Yej stands and clears, falls to Armson. Daniel, that's a good ball. Sekedes must finish and does now. Took a couple of bites.
Will deliver their in-swinger once more. Great area, Griffiths gets there. And Griffiths buries it into the bottom corner. There comes in. Rockdale get the advantage though as Moody Najjar drives into the box. Najjar! Moody Najjar puts it away, and Rockdale double their lead at Lambert Park.
Well, welcome back to the second half of Wollongong Wolves against St George City. St George City currently holding a 2-goal advantage. And have shown some real quality on the counter-attack and have been quite defensively solid as well, the visitors, with the Wolves not regularly breaking their opponents down. Cornish able to hold on to that. Shaked will go back to Solski. And here comes the press. Solski doesn't muck around with that one and sends it towards halfway. BT trying to slip in for Jitta. Both sides remain unchanged. The Wolves not looking to their bench just yet. They do have a couple of good options on there, including Sebastian Hernandez. Who will provide a real directness once he comes on and give the St George City backline something different to think about. Here's Scott. And the free kick goes the way of St George City there. It was Malik Amin who opened the scoring. A determined piece of play. Following a Wollongong corner, they sent it forwards early and he kept working hard and got the goal. And then it was Lewis Curry who grabbed the second one. Who's covered lots of ground throughout this game and was able to cap it off with a nice drilled finish into the far corner to double the advantage not long before half-time. Ball in for Scott. Ball again. Goes forwards. Solski takes his time to find Shaked. Mashivecchio. Shaked. Clarkson's head up. Still in the air. Mashivecchio able to bring it down. Shaked now. Here's Mashivecchio. Tried to find Beatty. Duarte. Hugo Cornish lines up a strike. Dipping effort off the bar. And Scott heads in. And the Wolves halve the deficit. Dream start to the second half. And that was just the start Wollongong needed. It was Cornish's strike. Fierce dipping effort off the bar. It almost looked like it may have bounced over the line from his effort, but it was Scott alert to finish off from close range. But could they respond straight away. Madden. Scott hasn't had the most free-flowing goal-scoring season this year. That was his 5th of the season and his first since round 12. And it's an important one. Momentum now with the home side. Madden for Duarte in an advanced position. Ball too far away from Maschivecchio, and it's Lewis Curry down at the moment. So St George defending with 10 for the time being. Madden skips inside. Fujita's effort still with Shaked. And that'll be a corner, but Curry goes down again, and this may force the visitors into an early second half change. That would be a blow for them. Curry has been key in that midfield. As mentioned, was the scorer of the second goal as well. Curry is back to his feet and running, but St George City are preparing 2 substitutes. And Curry may be one of them, given he's already gone down. Wait and see how that situation develops. But in the meantime, Wollongong have a corner. Madden. This one goes towards the far post, but harmlessly over the top. And we're going to see the substitutions now. And Lewis Curry is going to come off, as is Gultekin. Jon Pedersen, one of the substitutes coming on, as is Gideon Arok. So change in midfield and also a change in attack for the away side quite early on in this second half. Only 9 minutes played. Here's Duarte. Geisen clears that away. Has gone out of play. Beatty. Dylan Ryan, that ball overhit for Duarte. That goal from Lachlan Scott has just given the Wolves a bit of hope in this one. Good work from St George City, and the ball goes over the top. Yamamura brings it down. Bit of a misclearance there. Jon Pedersen, his first touch of the ball. That pass is a little loose, and it will fall to Mascivecchio. Ball quickly played forwards for Hugo Cornish, and this is a good chance for the Wolves. He's been forced wide, though. Shaked finds Madden. Madden for Duarte. Mascivecchio. Fujita. Clipped ball in, and good claim from Jack Kenny with Lachlan Scott lurking. Pedersen's header is back to Yamamura. Now comes Duarte. Hugo Cornish into the channel. Ben Berry chasing though. Duarte. Fujita. Cornish. Ball goes in again, blocked by Geisen. And Berry will try to keep that from a corner, which he does successfully. Pedersen. Scott works in and wins possession back. Here comes Yamamura, wide for Dylan Ryan. Geisen. Pedersen can turn and play it wide for Mitri. Duarte. Hugo Cornish. Beattie. Wollongong being patient. Dylan Ryan now taking a step forwards to clip it in for Madden. And it looks like we will see that change for the Wolves. Sebastian Hernandez to come on. Direct ball from St George City again, but Wollongong have picked it up. Here's Mitri the other way. Shaked gets there first. Down the line for Mascivecchio. The dummy hasn't worked, and now St George City can look to find a third. Here's Berry. Geisen. Looks like it will be 2 substitutions for the Wolves. Fujita. Clarkson, challenge from Duarte. Geisen. That ball goes a little astray, and looks like we'll see those changes in a moment. Hernandez for Marcus Beattie. And looks like Mascivecchio will be the other substitute as Dax Kelly comes into defence, which will allow Yamamura to move further forwards. That could give the Wolves a little bit more control in that midfield. With Dax Kelly coming on at centre-back. Mitri, here's Pedersen. Dax Kelly's first contribution is to stop that cross, but send it behind for the corner. Amin coming across to take this one. Good chance for City to find their third. Dylan Ryan heads away at the near post. Good challenge and can come forwards here, City. Past Berry. Now here's Hernandez. First opportunity for him to run it. Geisen. And it'll be a foul. It'll be a conversation with the referee. That'll be a final warning. Wait to see whether Geisen will be defending him on that side. It looks like it was just a set piece that saw the right fullback over on the left side. The rain is back here at Macedonia Park, along with a nice chilly wind as well. Headed away at the near post. Hernandez. Hernandez goes for a shot. That sails over. Pedersen holds it well against Dax Kelly, who does foul. And this is the chance for the away side to just push back up the field. He's long direct. Goal kicks have been an asset for them in this game. But goal now to re-extend their 2-goal advantage. Be really valuable. Pedersen got up, it's still there. It's come all the way to Berry, just past the far post. Monahan Vaker sliding in at the far post, but he couldn't make contact. Given up in a advantageous position here for St George City. Sabag's ball in, but caught by Solski. goes high towards Hernandez. That was a slip there, and Hernandez can get a cross in now for Scott, who's volleyed it over the bar. Big opportunity. It was an unfortunate slip back there for the St George City defender, Lewis Mikio. They are just a trickle of opportunities for the Wolves, but they have looked the more likely in this second half, although it was only a few seconds ago that St George City could have gone 3-1 up. The game is delicately poised as we get to the midway point of this second half. St George City still with a 2-1 lead over the Wolves. Looks like they are also preparing a substitute of their own, and it will be for Mikio coming off, and Tap will come on and play in the heart of that defence alongside Monahan Vaker. Shaked for Madden. Over the top of Hernandez. All the way through for Geisen to shoot, and bounces wide. That would have been a good moment for the former Wollongong Wolves junior. Here's Pedersen. Mitri tried to get it back to Pedersen. Ryan can now find Duarte. Ball goes over the top, dealt with initially by Ben Berry. Geisen sends it forwards again. Here's Madden. Now Yamamura to find it into Lachlan Scott. Monahan Vaker intercepted it, but it's back with the Wolves. Duarte, Fujita. And here is Duarte in a good position to take it into the box. Past Lachlan Scott. It's still on for Hernandez. Sabag with an important toe. Shaked's ball in. And it's out for Cornish to shoot. Well, it was a diving header that looked to be in an awkward position. Hernandez's ball in this time. And it's a fantastic header from Yuto Fujita. Well, he's perhaps the smallest man on the pitch, but that was an excellent header and provides a huge goal for the Wolves. And they've fought hard in this game. The second half has been much more competitive from the Wolves, and they've been creating good opportunities, and that means they're level. They'll be keen to push on and win this one though, especially as they want to look back up the table. Chance to move up into 6th position ahead of Sydney FC if they can win this one. Fujita again, what a fantastic climb. Here's Cornish with an opportunity. Kenny is able to grab it, but did take a bit of a hit from his own defender there. Tap. Another excellent leap from Fujita. And now City will be able to take the sting out of the momentum of the Wolves. It looked like a bit of a nasty collision between Tep and Kenny, but the goalkeeper will be all right to continue. Kenny drives it forward. That one, though, is a little wayward. It was Hernandez's ball in, and Scott tried to link up with Cornish. Back to Yamamura. Tep is down in the St George City box. Yamamura still with possession against Sabag. And it's been given away, and Yamamura will foul. This does make the game pretty interesting now, 2-2. With still probably at least 20 minutes left. Yamamura finds Dylan Ryan. All in for Duarte. Exchanges with Yamamura, but Scott gets onto it. Here's Duarte. Yamamura. What a delicate lob that was, and Kenny forced to palm it over his own bar. The hosts are playing some nice stuff. If anything, this will serve as strong motivation and a confidence booster the way they've come back in this second half, but the job isn't finished yet. Cornish's delivery, looping and towards Shaquette at the far post, and nudge on the back of Ben Berry, so will be a free kick. Look as if the Wolves were preparing another change. It looks like that plan has perhaps changed with the equaliser. We'll see what changes come in the minutes remaining. Mitri finds Pedersen. Sabag tries to get that ball in. Shaked, though, good defending. Hernandez looks to go around Clarkson and is still sprinting and carrying on is Hernandez, but Savag was tracking back and deemed to have fouled. Ryan's header, Scott. Scott still going and puts it in front of Fujita. Berry races across to deal with it and can find Geisen. Mitri couldn't get on the end of that pass. Dylan Ryan can carry on. Yamamura 1-2 with Dylan Ryan. Ball taken by Kenny. Tap tap. Wins the header. Pedersen. Cornish. Mitri. Pedersen. Given away, and Yamamura can find Fujita. Skips inside, Fujita still going, and buries a beauty. Yuto Fujita has turned this game around for the Wolves. A simply sensational hit. And Wollongong lead 3-2. And what a turnaround this has been in the second half. They look to be under pressure. And Yamamura slides it on Geisen. And it'll be a free kick for St George City, and with it the chance to hit back immediately. Yuto Fujita, who was one of a trio of signings for the Wolves, is already showing his impact. Really blasted that into the roof of the net. But the set piece will need to be defended for the Wolves. There's ample time left in this game. Mitri's delivery. And that ball goes high and wide. Solski finds Scott, but it's Duarte who stayed down. Change is being prepared for St George City, it looks like. Well, we'll see what they potentially plan to do here. They've already made a host of changes. Including that forced one with Mikio having to go off. Here's Mitri. Madden back defending. Looks like it'll be 2 substitutions for St George City, but corner first. Mitri, that ball's floated in. Berry still has it there. Tep is there, and it is in the goal. Bundled over the line, and it's 3-3. Not the prettiest of goals, but nonetheless, an instant response, really. And it's tap.
And there's a goal for St. George. Current score now 3-all.
A goal kick. But it was the Wolves who were conceding quite quickly after scoring against Sydney FC a couple of weeks ago, and looks like that trend has continued. And now come the St George City subs. Mitri is one of the players that coming off, with Hiroto Domoto coming on. And the other change, Malik Amin, the scorer of the first goal for St George City, coming off as well, and it'll be Spencer Webster up front to replace him. Here he is, Webster. Wide for Geisen. Fujita's touch. Dax Kelly's clearance is a little haphazard, and it's still on here for Webster. It'll be a goal kick. How many more twists and turns are there in this game? Yamamura. Webster. Geisen over the top. Ryan is fouled by Gideon Arok. Fujita already has a brace. What can he produce now? Into Scott, Madden, Shaked. Hernandez looks to skip around his fullback, but that was good defending from Sabag. Clarkson. Switch of play out towards Geisen. Duarte wins the initial header and no foul given, so Geisen can deliver. Pedersen's touch is good, and Tomoto can try to play it on for Sabag. It's spun out and it'll be a goal kick. Still both teams with eyes on 3 points. It's a good win from Webster. Pedersen finds it back to Webster, the shot. Straight at Solski. Fujita. Yamamura. Cornish. Finds Yamamura back to Cornish. Ball. Well, he took off a chunk of turf with that attempted cross that went quite wayward. Dylan Ryan is down with a knock he sustained in that last bit of defending for the Wolves. We'll wait to see if they need to make a change here, the Wolves. Looks like They will have to. Yamamura forced back into defence, with Dylan Ryan going off injured. That would be a blow for the Wolves if he had a sustained spell out. Can St George City win it? Lovely touch. Solski, big save. Yamamoto tried to poke the ball beyond the goalkeeper, and this still could go any way. Throw in right in the corner. And we are going to see a couple of changes. Looks like Noah Matthew and Dylan King, who are about to come on. Of course, Dylan Ryan being one of those players taken off. And the other change is Yamamura. So it'll be Matthew holding down the defensive line in what has become an increasingly reshuffled backline. Shaked looks to have dropped into centre back, meaning the only player who's still playing their position when they started is Duarte at left back. The rest has been reshuffled. Matthew. Webster. Madden can take it away to find Fujita. Fujita on for Cornish. Top save from Jack Kenny with his feet. And he has had a few chances this afternoon, Hugo Cornish. Cornish for Fujita. Back to Cornish. Blocked by Geisen, and it was an important block given the number of players the Wolves had committed into the box. And that was a super header from Duarte. And a combination of Jack Kenny and Ben Geisen prevented that one from going in. Pinpoint accurate delivery from Madden, and Duarte's header was destined for the top corner. Madden again. Shaked is somewhat flicked it on, but Sabag can take it away now. Here's Matthew. Madden. Forwards towards Scott. Comes back from Madden. Fujita. Good challenge from Berry. Geisen for Webster. Matthew. Loses out to Webster. It's Dylan King working back. And there'll be 5 additional minutes. Which leaves enough time for a winner. Score's locked at 3-3. It's going to be a goal kick for St George City, and they can lob it forwards again, as has proved so effective. one had a little less distance on it, but Clarkson's header is good. Durate wrestling with Webster. Pedersen tries to get it past Shaked. Hernandez. Shaked under pressure from Yamamoto. Cornish holds it up to find Dylan King. Webster. Wide for Geisen. Dax Kelly's header is good. Geisen puts the ball back in, but Shaked can head it away once more. Scott in with a challenge for Monahan Vaker. Shaked plays it forwards to Madden. Monahan Vaker out of position for now, but Clarkson is covering. Hernandez. Ball towards Fujita. Not accurate. Geisen for Pedersen. Shaked clears it away, but no foul given. And it'll be a corner. And the last corner, well, the last goal in this game came from a corner for St George City. It was a messy one, but with only around 2 minutes left in this game, another one from a set piece would be enough to win it, one would think. Yamamoto coming across to take this one, and they're committing numbers forwards here. Here's Geisen. Solski comes to claim and punches away. Yamamoto blocked by Dax Kelly, and here's Fujita coming the other direction. Fujita tries to find Cornish. Pedersen. Here's Geisen. Clarkson. Ball comes in and Webster trying to turn and get a shooting opportunity is forced out. Here he is again, Webster. Now the cross comes in, headed away by Shaked. Cornish battling for it with Monahan Vaker. Just seconds left of this one. Hernandez, brilliant touch, but Tep is keeping close attentions. Lachlan Scott takes a fall in the box, but possession staying with the Wolves. That ball towards Kenny is held well, and that'll be it. Full time at Macedonia Park, 3-3 between Wollongong Wolves and St George City. My name is Tim Gibson. Thank you for tuning in.